I have done more than $1.5 million in e-commerce, and more than $500,000 came from a single marketplace that most sellers won't even look at in 2026. Walmart, baby! And today I'm going to give you the exact 3-step system I would follow if I had to start from scratch again with $0, zero connections, and zero experience. My name is Salem, and after 4 years and over $50,000 testing every e-commerce strategy and tool out there, I built this entire business while working a full-time corporate job. Now, most people hear Walmart and think, why not just sell on Amazon like everybody else? But lately, to be honest, Amazon is a war zone. Fees have doubled in the last decade, and nearly 60% of new sellers are factory direct from China, undercutting your price. The veterans have thousands of reviews and an ad spend budget that we cannot touch. And margins that used to be 20 to 30% honestly don't work anymore. You are lucky to see 5 to 10 now. And I'm saying this because I sell on Amazon too. I have done over $1 million on there, which is crazy to think about. But if I were starting from zero in 2026, I would start with Walmart. And this is exactly how I would do it. Step 1, finding the right product. Now, by this point, most sellers already lost because they go searching for random individual products like a garlic press, a yoga mat, or a phone case, or something that they like themselves. They are essentially fishing with a single hook in the middle of the ocean and praying and hoping for the best, right? So instead of looking for products, we look for brands. Because when you find a brand that is doing well in the marketplace, you are not just finding one product. You are finding an entire catalog. And inside that catalog, there are always products with proven demand but terrible execution. They have lazy images, generic copy, and no marketing at all. Maybe even no reviews as well. And those products already have customers buying them despite bad listings. Now imagine what happens when you come in with a better version. So the process looks like this. You want to find brands doing between $50,000 and $500,000 a month in revenue. The sweet spot is big enough to prove demand, but small enough that they are not dominating every product in their catalog. Once you find a brand in that range, you look at their product lineup but skip their bestseller. And the reason is because that's their fortress, and that's where they have the reviews, the ad spend, the brand loyalty locked in. So you're 100% not going to be able to compete there. Instead, look at their number 3, 4, and 5 products, because those are usually the ones that are getting neglected. That is going to be your opening. You come in with better images, better copy, better positioning, and take your market share right from under them. Now, once you have a list of potential products, you need to validate the numbers before you spend $1. You need to know your exact profit per sale after Walmart fees, your landed cost, and your margins. And if the math doesn't work, just kill it and move on and leave the emotions out of it. If it does work, then congrats, bet. Let's do it, right? You now have a product backed by real data that you could potentially sell on the Walmart marketplace. Now, this part used to take hours of spreadsheets and guesswork, but I found a tool that does the whole thing for you in seconds. It is called Smart Scout, and essentially it is a product research tool and competitive intelligence that is going to provide us with a lot of information on how we could potentially find brands to sell. Think of it like having X-ray vision inside the entire marketplace. You could see any brand's revenue, filter by category, see their top sellers, search their product catalog, and check profitability instantly. There are so many things that you could see on this tool. So instead of spending 3 hours manually researching brands and running margin calculations on a spreadsheet, you just filter brands by revenue. Click into their catalog, scan products with the UPC scanner, cross-reference on Amazon, and then cross-reference on Walmart to get the calculations and confirm your margins. And here is exactly how you do that. All right, so this is what Smart Scout is going to look like. What we want to do is go into the brand section. If you look at my cursor right here. So if you look at my cursor right here, we're going to go to the brands. And as we can see, we have a big, huge list of about 400 to 8,000 different brands, right? We want to filter this for estimated monthly revenue from $50,000 to $500,000. And we're going to click apply. Now, what we're going to see first is a lot of big brands. So for example, we see Bratz. We see Crunchyroll, right? We want to look for the smaller fish in the sea. So I'm going to actually sort this smaller to larger. And now we're working with smaller brands. For example, Craft Daddy, Mufiguo, Bariso, Goshion, right? All these different brands. This brand doesn't even have a photo, and they're doing $50,000 a month, for example. Okay, so we're gonna click on this, and it's gonna give us this dashboard, which is pretty cool, right? We're able to see estimated monthly revenue, the score of the brand. We're able to see the opportunity that they have to increase their listings. We see the percentage that they do, Amazon FBA. We could see here that they have top selling products here. So a lot of light up plushies, it looks like. Okay, so what I could do is I could actually click on products, and I could click on any of them, and it takes me directly to the listing. So we're gonna click on this. Okay, and it looks like it's just a cheap stuffed animal, probably from Alibaba, right? So we could also cross-reference this on Walmart as well to see if something like this is selling, and that's an opportunity where we could go and create something like that, right? So this is going to give you all the data that you need to make the best decision. And it's also going to show you what marketplaces that they're on. Are they on Walmart? Are they on Amazon? Are they in Canada? Are they in Mexico? Right? All of the data that you need is all here in front of it, which makes it very, very cool. So let's actually see if we could find like one of their worst selling products. I'm actually curious, because not every product is obviously going to be an absolute banger, right? So some stuff does not sell as good as you think. So for example, it looks like this sells maybe one a month. So let's look at this one. Okay, the listing looks okay. It looks a little outdated. This looks a little Halloweenish to me, like more of a seasonal item, right? It doesn't look very year-round, so to say. This one, on the other hand, looks more like calming, loving, adorable, would want to give it to your child or your niece or nephew. So just as simple as a photo is going to make the biggest difference, right, everybody? So this is a prime example of no sales a month to 50 times a month. Now, if you click back onto the brands, it's going to take you back here. And what we could actually do is export data. So we click on export right here. We actually export this. And we could actually export this to Excel, which is going to allow us to not have to keep searching and searching and searching again. And if you do have a virtual assistant, or if you do have business partners or a team, this is a great way to mitigate repetitive tasks by sharing a sheet like this. So don't sleep on the export feature. It is going to save you a ton of time as you start dissecting more and more brands and products. So the next thing we're going to get into is the UPC scanner, which is going to come in clutch when you're reaching out to brands or distributors and you're wanting to figure out what is on their list without having to go through it manually. So what we could actually do is go to the selling tools and click on UPC scanner. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click on start a new scan on the top left. And for this example, you would type in example. We would then click on UPC for Walmart or Amazon for ASIN, and we would then upload our sheet. Now for this example, I'm going to use a sheet of mine that I had scanned not too long ago. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up for the purpose of this video. Now, when you go through the list, there are going to be some empty spaces, and that is basically saying that the UPC of the item that you're referring to or that it is scanning does not have a match on Amazon or Walmart, depending on which way you search it. So I like to always sort this, if you look at my cursor, to net profit being the highest first. That way, when I scroll down, I'm only seeing products that I could actually potentially buy, okay? So once again, we go to the filters here, and there's a tons of different features that you could do to really customize this and dial this in to your specific goals, your specific, margins, whatever it is, very, very easily. But for the purpose of the video, I'm just going to sort by net profit and estimated monthly sales, which is something that I always do. So I'm going to put minimum profit of $2, and I'm going to put estimated monthly sales as minimum of 50. All right, I'm going to close that out. And now I have a list of items that are $2 more in profit and that are selling 50 times or more a month. So if I click on the item, it's immediately going to take me to the Amazon listing. And right here, we see a 20 pack of Toblerone chocolate. It's actually funny because I used to eat this growing up when I was a kid at my grandparents'. But it looks like it's $3.45. I'm assuming that's for one bar. So if we did $3.45 times 20, the UPC is showing $3.45 for this item. Now I'm assuming that's for one bar. So this is definitely not going to be profitable. But as you just saw, it immediately takes you to the product. So you can make your decision on whether or not it's a go or a no. On the Walmart side, we would manually need to copy and paste. So for example, if we took this UPC and went over to Walmart, you need to put 2 zeros in front of it before you search. That is called the GTIN. The GTIN is simply the UPC with 2 zeros in front of it. And we click search, and here we could see that this is selling for $8, right? So this is being sold by our distributor from the list. If we go here, we see that it's selling for $2.35. So if we input this into Martyr on the Walmart side, we see that we're only making 55 cents, which isn't enough for me to pull the trigger and buy this product. But look how simple that was from using the scanner. This is going to be your new best friend, especially when you are scaling and looking to grow in all these different areas. So the one tool I really like is the AI listing architect. And if we click on this, we could actually go to create a listing, and we could go from build from existing listing. So for example, I'm going to search a product that I purchased not too long ago for a buddy of mine. I'm going to paste the ASIN and click search. And this is going to be a granite polish that's sold on Amazon. So it's used for wood and other things. A very good seller. Has over 2,000 reviews and sells 50 times a month. It is sold by the brand themselves, but I did want to use this as an example. Now, as we could see, the exact keywords in the search volume that this brand is getting. So as you can see, like I said, it's called Granite and Marble Polish, Italian Craftsman. And look at the search volume on this. It's absolutely insane, right? We see that people are also searching Rejuvenate Countertop Polish, Granite Restorer, Marble Shine Restorer, right? Also breaks down the bullet points for you. Special formula for marble and granite or any polished stone. Could also be used on finished wood, formica, metal, vinyl, or stainless steel. Contains no wax. This is very beneficial information because if you decided that you wanted to make a better product than Italian Craftsman, it would be very beneficial for you to know these keywords so you could get a better understanding of what your product cost would be before pulling the trigger on creating that product. Because people who have the most sales are bidding the most for those keywords. So if you sell a polish and he sells a polish, you are then competing each other with the term polish. It could get very, very expensive. So that's why it's important to do your research with tools just like this. And it breaks down even more, shows you different products related, their ranking, what's different, what search terms are available. It's really going to give you a good glimpse on what you should expect, and it does the heavy lifting for you. One tool that is also pretty cool is the ad spy. So you're able to actually spy on any brands to see how much they are spending and how much market share they are getting from their products online. So as we can see here, a few examples. This is going to be for the enterprise account, but it is worth it if you are going to be running expensive ads. It shows you the amount of search terms they had, the amount of products with ads. As we could see, NutriCost has 848 products with ads. We see their win rate. We see their sponsored brand win rate, their video win rate, their number one spot spend, $1 million, right? Sponsored products top group spend, $2.6 million.
right? There is a lot of money in the world of e-commerce, everybody. And if you want to launch a brand, it does pay to play. My favorite tool by far, which is also great to leverage when you're talking to brands or if you are a brand owner yourself, is going to be the rating booster. Okay. So what this does is this allows you to search for your ASIN and then send reminders, emails to get reviews for your products, right? We never want to include anything when we're shipping out a product to a customer that says leave us a review, but this is essentially a nudge that is going to remind the customer of the Amazon email that they bought and bump them or nudge them to give you a review. And if customers do like your product and they do see that, they will leave you a review, which is ultimately going to convert to higher sales and obviously longevity of a successful product. So this is something that is very, very simple and it's included in the software. And as we can see, there are multiple different things that we could do within Smart Scout, which makes it the perfect tool when you're ready to scale. I think you could just leave both, honestly, to just add another one. Thank you.
Now, these are just a few of the features that Smart Scout lets you do. There is a ton more inside the platform. I just don't want to overwhelm you. So if you do want to try this for yourself, their plans do start at $29 a month. But if you use my code SalemWFS at checkout, you get 30% off. Let's go, baby. So I will leave a link in the description below where the code is actually already going to be automatically applied for you at checkout. But for now, let's zoom out to the bigger picture because finding a brand is only step one. Step two is outsmarting the competition. Now, once you have a validated product, most sellers just list it and pray. They put it up on Walmart and wonder why no one is buying it. But you need to understand who you are selling against before you go and spend your money on inventory. And this is where I see most sellers have it completely backwards, thinking that the competition is something to be afraid of. Because in reality, your competition is actually your biggest advantage because they have already done all the testing for you. Literally. Just think about it for a second. Your competitors have already spent months and thousands of dollars figuring out which keywords convert, which ad copy gets clicks, and which products their customers want to buy together. So all of that data exists. Most sellers just don't know how to access it. But you do now. You saw it in the Smart Scout walkthrough. Ad Spy shows you their entire ad strategy. Keyword Detective gives you the organic keyword rankings, and the traffic graph reveals what their customers buy together. So instead of guessing what keywords to target, what ad copy to run, or what products you should be bundling together, you already have all of the answers. Your competitors have spent months and thousands of dollars trying to figure all of that out. But you, on the other hand, just looked it up. And don't get me twisted, this is not about copying what they are doing or anything like that. It is about taking something that's already working and combining the pieces into something that makes it even better. And that leads us to step number 3. Building a listing that actually converts. Now, this is what separates sellers making $500 a month and sellers making $50,000 a month. And this is the one that 99% of Walmart sellers are not going to figure out on their own. See, your listing is on your seller profile. It is the only thing standing in between a customer and their credit card. It works for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if it is weak, everything that you've done in step 1 and 2 goes to waste. But most sellers treat their listings like an afterthought. They never read the description, they never look at the images, they never plan to redesign the images, they just list on the pre-existing listing without doing any work to it. And then you're wondering why no one is buying your product that you're selling. But after doing $500,000 on the Walmart Marketplace and helping dozens of people make thousands of dollars online, I will tell you exactly what works. Your title needs to be built around real keywords with real buyer intent, not informational keywords that people are just going to be browsing. For example, there is a huge difference between someone searching a yoga mat and then someone searching a pink yoga mat with a carrying case. One of those people is just looking around browsing and the other person has their credit card ready to go and ready to make a purchase. So your listing needs to show up for that second person. Then you need images that actually sell. And I'm not talking about some random product photos on a white background. I'm referring to good aesthetic infographics that show features, that show benefits, that show all of that. Your images should be doing the selling before anyone even reads a single word of your copy. And speaking of copy, it needs to talk about the customer's actual problem instead of just listing out a bunch of features. That is another thing that I see all the time that makes me want to throw my laptop outside my window, so I'm not going to get into that. But I will tell you one thing to focus on that does actually drive sales. Nobody cares that your product is made of some superior material. All they care about is whether it is going to fix their problem better than everything else on that same page. And the good news is that you do not need to figure out any of this alone. Smart Scout has an AI listing architect that does the heavy lifting for you. It looks at what is already working for the top listings in your category, pulls in the right keywords, and it gives you the optimized copy you could use as a starting point to increase the perceived value of your product. Now, obviously, you shouldn't just copy and paste this. Take this with a grain of salt and tweak it, add your brand voice, and make it sound like a real person who wrote it. Because customers could tell the difference between a listing that was built with care and one that was thrown together by AI or ChatGPT in 15 seconds. So that is step 3. Build a listing that is engineered to convert instead of just ranking on a list. And now you have the complete system and you know more about starting a Walmart business than 99% of sellers who have been doing this for years. Now, if you want to skip the trial and error and just watch me do it step by step on my screen, I recorded a full training that takes you from zero to your first profitable product as fast as possible. I walk you through how I built a $10,000 a month business on Walmart in just 90 days, showing you the exact products and process I went through on my screen. So if you are interested in that, I will link the video on screen as well as the description. So go watch that now and I will see you there.